The story begins with the appearance of a young boy named Afro next to his father, who is called Rokitaro.
It'll soon be over.
Rokitaro goes to fight a person called Justice. Justice calls Rokitaro number 1, which means the headband that is placed on the head of Rokitaro, and it grants its owner godhood, immortality, supernatural powers, and great knowledge. A fierce battle rages between them, and in the end Justice wins and kills Rokitaro. Justice takes the number 1 headband and puts it on his head. Meanwhile, Afro is watching his dead father and crying. Then Justice says to Afro, "Fight me when you are ready," and then he goes away.
Challenge me when you're ready to duel a god.
After Afro grows up, he appears as if he has trained well, and in the scene, 20 people surround him to kill him. They attack and shoot him, and by using his sword he cuts the bullet in half, as it appears that he has a very high speed in combat. In the end, Afro kills them all, and this battle called the Battle at the Body Tree. During Afro's fight, he is watched by a person from the top of the tree. After that, Afro meets a person called Ninja, and tells him how much he admires his fighting abilities, but Afro does not respond to him, and Ninja decides to follow Afro. In the next scene, a person walks into the bar and warns everyone about Afro, and they realize it's number 2, Afro Samurai.
Did you say Afro hairdo, greenish tint?
The headband, with number 2 written across it.
Someone at the bar asked why everyone wants to kill Afro.
You don't know? You really must be from out of town.
The waitress replies that there are 2 ancient headbands. Number 1 gives godlike abilities. No one can challenge you unless he owns headband number 2, and the number 2 is anyone can challenge to him. A fight happened in the bar, and then Afro enters and orders a cup of iced lemon.
Lemonade. Ice cold.
A huge person breaks the lemon cup, and then he attacked Afro, but Afro kills him with a single punch. Then the waitress guides Afro to Mount Shino Road, where number 1 is waiting for him.
Thanks.
On his way, Ninja warns Afro that someone from the bar is following him and wants to kill him. This guy is called Sushan, and he has a grenade launcher and arrows. The battle begins, and Afro tackles the arrows with his sword, and dodges quickly, to avoid getting hit. The battle ends with the death of Sushan, while the same person is watching Afro from a distance. It turns out that this person who is watching him is called Brother 2, and he was sent by another person on the mountain, called Brother 1. Afro goes on his way, but soon, he gets tired of being wounded by the arrows. Meanwhile, a person is taking advantage of this opportunity and shoot Afro with RPG missile. But Afro counters the RPG missile with his sword and cuts it in half, but it explodes and causes him great damage. An old scene appears, which Afro is young, and a group of people are following him as they try to take his headband number 2.
Be a good boy and hand that number 2 headband over nice and slow like.
He tries to confront them, but they beat him and take the headband. After that, they find with him the skull of his father, which he kept at his death, and they destroy it. Then 2 people find Afro, and those 2 people are a young girl and another guy named Jino, and he has a master.
The bandits must have got him. This is bad.
Back in present, Afro wakes up and finds himself next to a woman named Okiku, who finds him on the river bank and helps him.
Mighty samurai.
Back in the past, Jino and his master with students help and take care of Afro. The master brings Afro to the students and teaches him martial arts. He overhears 2 men talking about the owner of the number 2 headband that was stolen from him.
Apparently he's back in town.
Then he threatens one of the 2 men and asks him where the owner of the headband is, but the man refuses to answer and resists.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At this moment, Afro does great damage to the man's neck. In the end, the man shoots himself.
Finish the job.
Back in the present, someone is watching Afro and seeks to kill him. But Afro finds this man and kills him. Afro offers Okiku a sum of money for her help, and tells her that he will go tomorrow, but she refuses to take the money.
Keep it for your travels.
Back in the past, Afro confronts the brothers of the man who was killed by him.
We know it was you that killed our brother.
He cuts up the brothers and kills them all with the help of the students. One of the brothers tells him before his death that number 2 has already died and there is a new one who take the headband number 2.
There's a new number 2. You'll never find him.
Back in the present, we watch Okiku talking on the phone, apparently she working for Brother 1, who wants to kill Afro. Okiku asks Afro where he's going, and he tells her that he is going to Shino Mountain, and then they start making love. During that, she tries to kill him but she doesn't. After they finished, she destroys her phone, but Afro sees her doing it, and he knows that she wants to kill him. She asks him to forgive her, and confesses everything to him that she copied his memories over the phone, so that Brother One could know his sword skills. Then a group of soldiers who are sent by Brother One attack Afro to kill him. Okiku helps Afro and kills 2 soldiers, but one of the soldiers on the roof kills her, and takes the data.
We have obtained the data.
Brother Six burns the house down, but Afro survives the fire and continues onto the mountain. In the next scene, the brothers creates a demon machine, and puts on it the skills of Afro that Okiku has sent them. The name of this machine was called Afro Droid, and according to Brother One, it took millions of working hours to make just the head of it. A battle takes place between Afro Droid and all the assassins, and Brother One announces that whoever survives will send him to kill Afro.
When it's over, the last man or machine standing will battle number 2.
And in one moment the Afro Droid cuts all the assassins into pieces and wins the battle. Afro meets Afro Droid on the bridge, a fierce battle rages between them but the Afro Droid was stronger. After Afro receives damage, he decides to fight Afro Droid with his eyes closed. In this case, he uses his subconscious power, so that the Afro Droid will not be able to predict his movements. In the end Afro killed the Afro Droid and threw him into the river and won the battle. The bridge has hidden explosives, placed by the brothers. Brother Six blows up the bridge, but Afro runs quickly and survives the explosion.
Damn it, Brother Six!
Afro continues on his way, and the scene of Afro Droid in the river appears, and believes that he is not dead yet. Afro arrives on the mountain, where he appears facing Brother Six. The battle between them begins, and he manages to kill Brother Six, but Brother 5 and 4 appear, who were hiding in the chest. A battle takes place between 2 brothers and Afro, but in the end Afro managed to kill the 2 brothers together. Afro goes inside the building where Brother 2 was hiding and watching him, but Afro soon finds him, and he gouges out his eyes. After that, Afro Droid appears who thinks he is dead, and a battle takes place between them again. But this time Afro Droid shows new abilities. One of them is to shoot a laser, but this laser is exploited by Afro to his advantage and cut off the left hand of Afro Droid. Then Afro Droid uses his other ability to shoot bullet from his mouth, but Afro grabs him by the head so he can't hit him, forcing Afro Droid to fly up to get rid of. A battle takes place between them, but this time in the sky. Eventually Afro manages to stab him in the head with a sword and knock him to the ground. But Afro Droid rises again, and aims a laser cannon at Afro, but Afro sliced him with a sword, which changes the course of the cannon upwards. So Afro Droid uses up all his energy and dies. Afro takes the chip inside him and cuts it. An elevator appears and Afro uses it. While he is going up, Brother One appears and shoots him. But when the elevator arrives, Brother One appears to be killed by Afro. After that, someone appeared wearing teddy bear head, and says he hasn't seen Afro in a long time.
Long time no see, Afro Samurai.
It appears that this person has 2 swords and uses them together in combat. If Afro want to reach number 1, he must defeat this person first.
If you want the number 1, you must first defeat me.
Teddy's head starts attacking Afro, and Afro tries to escape from him and not attack him, but Teddy's head causes great damage to Afro and throws him to the ground, jumping and attacking him from a distance. Back in the past, Afro seems to know that Jinno who is fighting him right now, and Jinno was one of the students who were training with him by Master. And when a group of assassins attacked him, Jinno helped him and fight, and they were able to kill them all. After that, a person tells Afro that he's heard a rumor that his master is number 2.
Is the owner of the number 2 headband.
Afro then went to his master, and he asks him directly about it, and the master replies that he is right, and Afro has to fight him to take the headband.
Or fight me to the death for the number 2 headband.
Meanwhile, a group of assassins attack the master and the students, but the master confronts them. The master was badly damaged by the assassins. Jinno and some of the students try to help him, then Afro attacks the assassins as well. During the battle, Sasuke dies and he is one of the students. Sasuke! Also Jinno is badly damaged as well, and Afro helps him and kills the assassins. In the end, Afro kills his master to obtain the headband number 2, so that he can face Justice, who is the owner of headband number 1. Jino feels angry and sad for what Afro did, and he said that he will not forgive him, and then he throws himself into the sea. Afro feels sad for the loss of Jino and then puts on headband number 2. Back in the present, Jino takes off Teddy's head, and says his tears haven't stopped fall since then because of what Afro did.
My tears have never stopped falling.
Jino attacks, but Ninja stands in his face and receives a sword strike on his shoulder and die. The battle begins again, but this time Afro pulls his sword, and it seems that Jino has great speed. Back in the past, one of the brothers who is called Darman helped Jino after he was badly wounded during the battle in which Master died. Darman helps Jino to heal and adds robotic limbs to him. After Jino is cured, many assassins attack him and try to kill him, but he kills them in one moment without realizing he was surprised by his supernatural killing abilities and speed. Back in the present, Jino does great damage to Afro's body, but Afro strikes Jino's electronic helmet with a sword, causing it damage. Afro gets angry and gets up from the ground, and cuts Jino in half and kills him. Then Afro arrives to the number 1 headband owner, who is Justice.
You've grown into a fine killer.
Justice had a weapon, which is 2 pistols. The battle begins as Justice shoots Afro in the shoulder. Justice tells Afro about the reason why he killed his father, as well as the reason why he is trying to kill Afro right now, which is that he wants to end the conflict between number 1 and 2, so that the world can live in peace and tranquility without conflict. Afro runs towards him, and Justice shoots him again, but Afro cuts the bullets with his sword and avoids them. Then he cuts off Justice's 2 hands, but Justice has a 3rd hand in his back, which is the same hand he used to kill Afro's father. But Afro notices and blocks it with his sword, and then he cuts the neck of Justice. Afro thinks he killed him, but the truth is that he didn't die, as Justice rises from the ground, bends his neck and heals instantaneously. Justice quickly grows his limbs, pierces the ground and then pierces the skull of the Afro.
Finally got all of them headbands.
Justice thinks that he has won, but in fact Afro did not get pierced in skull, but rather in hair. Then Afro jumps and attacks Justice, ripping him with his sword to pieces. The battle ends and Afro finally gets his number 1 headband. Years later, Afro appears in the same place where his father was killed, and Jino is confronted by him, and it turns out that Jino did not die in the last battle. They prepare for battle and the series ends here. Thank you for watching. If you have an anime series or movie that you want me to make a video about it, please tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.